Hey Byrdie, I'm Tobi Henney and I'm here with Bambi, and today we're going to show you how to get this beautiful orange tone look which we've called the sunset eye. So to start this look we're going to do some skin prep. I'm going to use a Quarterly Beauty Elixir spray and I'm going to just spritz that. It also smells really good, so everyone loves this one. And next we're going to hydrate with La Mer, the moisturising soft cream. I'm going to give Bambi a little massage. It's really important to work the moisturiser into the skin. We're going to use Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. Because Bambi's got beautiful freckles, we want the freckles to shine through. And I'm also going to mix through the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector, and this is in the colour Champagne Pop. So I'm going to put one pump of that, I'm going to mix the two together so it's nice and creamy. And this is an IT Cosmetics makeup brush, and I love this brush because one side you can use for your foundation and the other side you can use for your concealer. So it's really important to bring the foundation down the neckline. And when you're matching foundation, it's a good tip to match it to your arm color, because you don't want to match it to your neck because your neck's always going to be lighter than your body. So we're just going to conceal under the eyes with the NARS Creamy Concealer, and I'm using the color Custard. I'm going to use the other end of that IT Cosmetics brush. So you want to use a shade that's a little bit lighter than the foundation for under the eyes, because that's going to make your eyes look brighter and more awake. Sometimes I like to brighten just down the center as well, so a little bit on the forehead, a little bit on the chin, on the cupid's bow, just around the nose. And then we're going to lock that center makeup in place with a little bit of powder. I'm using Charlotte Tilbury powder in medium.
I'm gonna be doing my own makeup soon.
I know, right?
I can get you life hacks.
So we're going to do some cream contouring with the Tom Ford Shade Illuminate palette, and we're just going to pop that under the cheekbone. We're going to keep it nice and light. We want it to look natural. We don't want it to look too heavy because we want Bambi's skin to look nice and bronzed. We love a nice sharp cheekbone, don't we?
Love.
So I'm going to come in now with the Tom Ford bronzer, and we're just going to pop that over the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate. So we're going to do the brows, and we're going to use the NARS Brow Gel in Clear. So Bambi doesn't actually need a lot of brow product because her brows are naturally amazing. Sometimes, if anything, we just put a little bit in the ends. So I'm just going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Palette, and I'm just going to use an angle brush just to fill in the end, just to give it a little bit more shape. So sometimes Bambi gets me to cut her brows when we're working together, so they can get quite long, can't they?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to work on the eyes next, so I'm going to curl the lashes. So make sure you curl the lashes evenly. You want the lashes on the end to all be curled just as even as the ones on the inner eye. So we're going to start with the eye base, and I'm going to use the Marc Jacobs Highliner in Orange Crush, and we're going to put this all over the lid. So I tend to use a cream-based product for my eye in whatever tone I'm doing. So because we're doing a beautiful orange eye, I'm going to use an orange tone cream liner, and this is also going to help the eye stay in place for longer. So we're going to use the Fenty Beauty Match Sticks now, and I'm really excited because this is actually a new product on the market and they do some great shades, and I'm just going over the top of that work that I've already done, and this is building up our little sunset on the eye. These have a really pretty sheen to them, so just keep it onto the lid. So I'm using Chili Mango on the center of the lid, and then I'm going to use Redic on the outer edge of the eye. I'm just going to build that color into the outer corner of the eye. And again, this one's a little bit glittery too, so just be careful with your product placement. And it's really nice just to use a soft fluffy brush for these. So I found some really cool orange tones on the Kat Von D Saint and Sinner palette. And there's a shade called Devil, which is a nice matte orange. So I'm going to use that on my 217 brush, and we're just going to build that on the outer edge of the eye. And you want to use a matte tone in the crease. You don't want to use a shimmery or glittery shade. And this is just going to give a little bit more shape to the eye. So I'm coming in now with a clean, fluffy brush, and I'm just going to blend that out. So it's nice to use a brush without any product on it for blending. That will help with your overall eye look. So now I'm going to come in with that same orange shade in a 239 brush by MAC, and it's a little bit of a squarer brush, so it's really easy to run under the lower lash line. And you want to connect that with the work that you've just done on the crease, so it kind of gives that rounded effect on the eye. And again, I'm coming in with that clean brush and just blending out that under eye area and that outer corner of the eye. To finish the orange sunset eye, we're going to use Tom Ford Cognac Sable palette, and then we're going to push that into the center of the eye. And this has a really fun, beautiful glitter finish. So I'm gonna highlight the inner eye with one of the new palettes from Fenty Beauty, and this is Hustler Baby. It's a nice glittery gold. So this is gonna team up well with the orange tones. I'm just popping that softly in the inner eye. So we're going to use MAC Cosmetics Hot and Naughty Mascara in 2 Black.
That's sexual names today.
What's your favourite mascara?
I think Estee Lauder, or actually Maybelline.
Maybelline?
The
Great Lash? The pink and green?
The pink and green.
Yeah, the
It's like,
classic.
good go-to.
Yeah, and so I'm popping this on with the MAC Cosmetics fan brush, which I use on everybody, and bottom lashes. This is a great brush for the lower lashes if you're a makeup artist. It helps to really separate the lashes. Okay, so now we're gonna highlight the tops of the cheekbones, and again, we're gonna use the same shade as we did on the inner eye. And so I'm using a MAC Cosmetics fan brush, and I'm just gonna lightly sweep that on the tops of the cheekbones. This product's actually really pigmented, so you don't need a lot of it. It can be a little bit glittery if you use too much. So for cheek colour, we're going to use the NARS Illuminator, which is in Orgasm.
I knew where that was going. I was like,
oh dear. I'm just gonna tap it on the apples of the cheek, and this is gonna help add to that beautiful dewy skin look that we're aiming to achieve. So we're going to use Bite Beauty Papaya lipstick on the lip, and I'm just going to use a small brush to apply. We kind of want this lip to look like an enhanced lip colour. And then over the top, we're going to use Tom Ford lip gloss, which is nice and sheer pinky shade. Beautiful. So if you feel like you need a little bit more powder to finish, you can come back in with the Charlotte Tilbury powder. And then something that we've been loving, when we finish, we just get Bambi to close her eyes. We just lightly spray that over the face, and that's going to add to that luminous glow. Thanks so much for watching our sunset eye look. If you have any questions, just leave in the box below.